What? Hi everyone. So this is I'm reading the 13th chapter of Talking to Dragons. It's from Melanie. I haven't even. Okay, I'm gonna look at this. Right, chapter 13, in which they learn the difference between a wizard and a magician. Oh, I know who it is now. Oh my God! This is exciting. The dragon was still sneezing in medium-sized puffs of flame. The man with the staff examined it and shook his head. That certainly is a dragon. He made another pass with his staff. The staff vanished, and the dragon stopped sneezing abruptly. Sniffed a couple of times in an experimental way, looking surprised, as if it expected to start sneezing again any minute. I was surprised too. I mean, wizards never let go of their staffs. Not willingly, anyway. The man bowed politely to the dragon. I apologize for inconveniencing you, he said. I offer you greetings and welcome to my home, and I wish you good fortune when you leave. What? Said the dragon. He's gonna freak out when he realizes who this kid is. The man looked a little startled and peered at the dragon more closely. Oh, I see, after said a moment. Well, you're welcome. Come and make yourself comfortable. Shiara scowled at him and bent to pick up Night Witch, who had come running toward her as soon as the flames had died. The dragon looked suspiciously at the man. I don't like wizards, it said, and I don't like people who put invisible things in the middle of my shortcut. I am not a wizard, the man said with a sigh. My tower has been here for years, and it isn't invisible. Now come on in and talk. There hasn't been a dragon by for a long time, and I'm a bit behind on the news. If you're not a wizard, what are you? Shiara said, petting Night Witch and glaring at the man. I'm a magician, the man said. And my name is Telemaine. Yes! Oh, I yelled at him so much last chapter. Pleased to meet you, I said. Meow, said Night Witch and started purring loudly. Telemaine looked at the kitten and suddenly he began to laugh. He had a nice laugh, sort of deep and friendly. I started thinking I might be able to like him after all, even if his firewall had nearly burned me to a cinder. I don't believe I've ever seen a group quite like this one, Telemaine said when he finished laughing. Please, tell me who you all are. I introduced everyone, and Telemaine, nodded courteously to each of us. He gave me a sharp look when I told him my name. I thought that was what your friend called you, he said. Welcome to my home. Some welcome, Shiara said. You nearly got Daystar killed, and you started the dragon sneezing again. How come the dragon was allergic to you if you weren't a wizard? Dragons aren't allergic to wizards, Telemaine said, sounding surprised. Who gave you that, or what gave you that idea? I did, said the dragon. It came forward and sat down emphatically, right next to me. All dragons are allergic to wizards. I should know. I sneeze every time I get near one. It eyed Telemaine belligerently. Oh, I don't doubt that at all, Telemaine said. But the hypersensitive... I missed this. I really missed his verbose nature. The hypersensitive reaction results from the indiscriminate absorption of magical energy through the enchantments fixed in their staffs. What? Said the dragon. Telemaine sighed. It's not wizards you're allergic to, it's their staffs. You stopped sneezing as soon as I got rid of mine, didn't you? The dragon looked startled. I did, didn't I? It said after a minute. If you aren't a wizard, what are you doing with a wizard's staff? Shiara asked. Telemaine raised his eyebrows. Why do you ask? We've been having some trouble with the wizards, I said before Shiara could answer. I didn't want her to make him so angry. We'd had enough people mad at us already. Really? Telemaine looked as if we were going to laugh again. All of you? Well, mainly just Shiara and me, I said. We've sort of been worried about them. Most of them are after Shiara, I added. What would the Society of Wizards want with a fire witch? Telemaine said. I can see that I shall have to invite you in, if only to hear your tale. How do you know about the Society? Shiara said angrily. And why should we trust a wizard anyway? Anyone who knows about magic can tell you're a fire witch, and the only reason I can think of for a fire witch to have several wizards after her is she has done something to offend the Society of Wizards, Telemaine said. He still sounded amused, and for the third time at least. I'm a magician, not a wizard. What's the difference? Shiara demanded. Magicians deal with many ways of magic, Telemaine said. Wizards, with only one. Now, will you come in and sit down? Shiara was still looking at him doubtfully. Telemaine smiled. Will an oath content you? If you mean no harm, I am not your enemy, and I will do you no harm while you are my guest, save in self-defense. I swear by the sword. I felt it kind of popping at my side, even though I wasn't touching the sword, and a ripple ran through the clearing like a shimmer of light in the air. I thought it kept on going out into the forest, but I couldn't be certain. Shiara started and dropped Night Witch, who landed on her feet with a yowl. The dragon stretched its neck, looking almost as if it were trying to purr. Telemaine suddenly looked very intense. That is the way of it, then, he said when the ripple passed. I don't think I blame you for your caution. He looked pointedly at my sword. Shiara scowled again, but I thought she looked a little more doubtful than the last time. If you're so smart, she began and stopped. Night Witch was rubbing against Telemaine's leg and purring. Night Witch? said Shiara. An intriguing name for a cat, Telemaine said, bending over to pick up Night Witch. Even more interesting for a kitten. Where did you come by her? She was a present, Shiara said grudgingly. From a witch named Morwen, said Telemaine. Night Witch purred even louder. I suspected as much. Now will you come in, or do you wish to continue the discussion where anyone may hear? Good point. We went in. The door of Telemaine's home looked like an ordinary, normal-sized door, but it couldn't have been because the dragon fit through it without any trouble. That's Morwen's work. Or at least, Morwen taught Telemaine that. The room inside was made of stone and very bare. In the center of the room, 2 iron staircases twisted around each other in a spiral and disappeared into the ceiling. The whole place seemed much taller from the inside. If I hadn't seen it before we came in, I would have been sure we were in a tower. As the door closed behind the dragon, Telemaine waved his hand. A table and 3 chairs materialized beside the stairs. Sit down and tell me more about yourselves. We sat down, except for the dragon, who sort of curled itself around the edges of the room. I started explaining about Mother and Aunt Terrell and everything that had happened in the enchanted forest. I even told him about the sword of the Sleeping King, because I was pretty sure from the way he looked at it that he already knew something about it. The questions he asked made it pretty clear that I was right, although sometimes he got so technical that I had to ask him to repeat something. That's Telemaine. It sounded as if he knew exactly what answers he expected, too. When I told him about the voice that had said, "All hail the bearer of the sword," he nodded in satisfaction. Then, I explained how Shiara and I had met, and why the wizards were after her. And about the one who tried to get us at the stream. Shiara frowned at me, but she didn't interrupt. When I told him about meeting Morwen, Telemaine seemed very interested. I haven't seen Morwen in a long time, he said. How is she? You know Morwen? Shiara said. We grew up together, Telemaine said. Now, exactly what did she have you do to repair the damage to your hand? Telemaine asked a lot of questions about things the Sword of the Sleeping King had done, but he didn't seem particularly interested in the wizards. He wasn't interested in the princess at all. Then I told him about the invisible castle and the fire witch. So that's how you knew about it, Telemaine said. I wondered. That's how we knew, Shiara said. How did you know? The castle landed in my clearing sometime around noon, Telemaine said dryly. I was understandably curious as to why someone will go to all the trouble of making a castle invisible, and then drop it on top of a magician who can't help noticing it. It's not there now, Shiara said. Of course not. What would I want with an invisible castle? When I found no one home, I cleaned the place up a bit and got rid of it. Cleaned it up? I said, puzzled. The most recent owner had a number of unattractive habits, Telemaine said, even more dryly than before. In addition to casual petrification of passerby, she indulged in 7 varieties of involuntary metamorphosis as well as necromancy and demonology. I don't believe you would be at all interested in the technical details. Oh my god! Oh, he was right. I didn't really want to know about it. Telemaine looked at Shiara again. I owe you an apology, he said. I know that the castle was the property of a fire witch, and I'm afraid that when you showed up I thought you had some connection with it. Well, I don't, but I suppose I can see why you might have gotten mad. Shiara sounded a lot friendlier than she had before. I think she would have been friendly to anyone who didn't like that other fire witch. Then she frowned. How did the castle get into your clearing anyway? Excuse me. Telemaine shrugged. As far as I can tell, the unit transportation spell operated on a set of totally random parameters, both in terms of time and location. What does that mean? Said the dragon. The castle was designed to move around the enchanted forest more or less randomly. It's a rather unusual spell to put on a building, particularly an invisible one, because if you happen to be outside when it moves, you get left behind. Then why on earth would anyone put a stupid spell like that on a castle? Presumably the fire witch didn't expect to have any problems finding the castle again. I don't believe it occurred to her that someone else might find it first. He smiled. I left a few surprises for her. I doubt that she'll be pleased. Oh, that's all right, the dragon said. Daystar got rid of her. Telemaine looked at me. Really? How did you manage that? She threw some sort of spell at me, but Night Witch scratched her, so she missed, I said. And after that I had the sword out. You used the sword of the Sleeping King on a fire witch? Telemaine said. He sounded somewhere between shocked and horrified. I couldn't think of anything else that might work, I said apologetically. And it did work. Sort of. I mean, it got rid of the fire witch. She went up in smoke, the dragon said with considerable satisfaction. I watched. She went up in smoke, Telemaine repeated in tones of fascination. What were you doing while this was going on? I was trying to hang on to the sword, I said. It was glowing red, and my hands felt like they were burning or something, so it was sort of hard to do. But as soon as the fire witch was gone, it stopped. You are extremely fortunate, Telemaine said. You might have gotten yourself killed and ruined everything. I don't recommend that you try that again. Stick to wizards. That's what the sword was meant for. It was? Said Shiara. How do you know? What else does it do? Telemaine looked at her. Magicians know many kinds of magic. He turned back to me. Please continue. He dodged that question. I was curious about what the sword did too, but Telemain obviously didn't want to talk about it, so I didn't ask. Instead, I explained about fixing Shiara and not finding the castle and meeting the second elf. Telemain listened carefully, then shook his head. So, the war is beginning again, he said, half to himself. I had best make my own preparations. I wonder why no one let me know. War? Shiara and I said together. Telemain looked up, as if he'd almost forgotten we were there. The war between the dragons and the wizards, he said in tones of someone trying to be patient. The dragon, who had been falling asleep, suddenly came awake. War? With the wizards? Ah! It is obvious, Telemain said a trifle crossly. The elves are choosing sides, the dragons are restless, the wizards are coming into the enchanted forest in large numbers, and the sword of the sleeping king has returned. What more do you need to know? What does the sword of the sleeping king have to do with a war between the dragons and the wizards? I asked before the dragon could take offense. The sword is what started the war in the first place, Telemain said, and then he refused to say any more. If Cymrine didn't see fit to explain, I certainly won't, he said. When you meet Kazula, I'm sure she will tell you whatever you need to know. I'm afraid I don't have time at the moment. I must see to things at once if we are to win this war at last. What do you mean? Who do you mean, we? Shiara asked suspiciously. The dragons, Telemain said, and the rest of us who follow the sword. Now, if you will excuse me. He rose and started for the stairs. Wait a minute, Shiara said. What about us? What? Oh, of course, Telemain said. He waved his hand again and muttered something, and suddenly the table was full of plates and bowls of food. I jumped. Telemain didn't seem to notice. Help yourselves while I am gone, he said. I don't expect to be long. He turned away and went up one of the iron staircases. Shiara and I looked at each other. Now what do we do? Shiara said. I'm going to eat, I said. Would you like something? Shiara snorted, but she reached for one of the bowls. There was plenty for all of us, including Nightwitch and the dragon. About the time we finished, Telemain came back. I was right, he said to no one in particular. Then he looked at me. You better stay here for the night. It will be much safer for everyone, and it will give me time to look into things a little more. You've been extremely lucky so far, but there's no reason to take any more chances until you must. I started to nod, and then looked at Shiara. Shiara looked at me, then at Nightwitch, who was curled into a small ball in Telemain's chair. She shrugged. Let's stay. You will find rooms upstairs. On the second floor, Telemain said. Just pick one and go in. He turned to the dragon. I think you'll be more comfortable down here. I think you're right, said the dragon, eyeing the iron staircases a little dubiously. Thank you very much for your hospitality. Telemain nodded. Shiara and I started for the stairs. Shiara got there ahead of me and started climbing, but she didn't get anywhere. What's the matter? I asked. There's something wrong with this stupid staircase, Shiara said. I keep trying to climb up, but I don't go anywhere. Telemain, who had been talking quietly to the dragon, turned. I'm sorry, I should have warned you. You'll have to take the other staircase. That one incorporates a unidirectional matrix focused groundward. Say that again in English, Shiara said. That stairway just works going down. That's ridiculous, said Shiara. How can a staircase only work going in one direction? He's a magician, I said. We didn't have any of the trouble going up the other stairway. Telemain's tower really was a lot taller than it looked from the outside. The stairs kept going after they got to the second floor. Shiara and I didn't climb any farther, though. We got off the landing at the second floor and looked around. We were standing on a narrow circle of wooden floor around the hole where the two staircases came through. Around the edge were 6 identical wooden doors. Well, he said to just go in, Shiara said. Each of us picked a door and opened it. The rooms were all the same, very comfortable looking. Each had a bed, a table, a lighted lamp and a bracket on the wall, a padded chair and a set of small drawers with a mirror above it. Shiara looked thoughtful. Wonder if he keeps lights going in all these rooms? He might, I said. I mean, he is a magician. Does it matter? Shiara glared at me and went into the room she'd picked, slamming the door behind her. I stood there for a moment, wondering whether to knock on the door and apologize. In the end, I decided to wait until morning to talk to her, since by then she probably wouldn't be mad anymore. And anyway, I wasn't sure what I should apologize for. I kept the sword of the sleeping king with me all night. It was a little uncomfortable sleeping that way, but I felt better knowing where it was. It wasn't that I didn't trust Telemain. I was just getting more and more worried about the sword. Everyone I met seemed to know about it or want to know about it and just want to get a hold of it. I spent a lot of time thinking instead of sleeping. Telemain served breakfast the next morning on his magic table. He was very quiet while we were eating, but as soon as we finished, he looked at me and said, I've watched the enchanted forest all night, and there are some things you should know, but I do not wish to detain you against your will. What things? Shiara demanded. Telemain smiled slightly. I fear you will have some difficulty in reaching the castle, he said. I found no less than 12 wizards searching the area between it and you. Great, Shiara said disgustedly. Just what we need, more wizards. I don't think it's very good, the dragon said. Why do you? I don't, Shiara said. Then why did you say so? What can we do about them? I asked Telemain. I think you can avoid them if you go through the Caves of Chance, Telemain replied. The Caves of Chance? Oh boy. Oh boy.